First off, just to kind of give an introduction to Journey of the Spark and what it is the very first fan-animated feature film based on My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. When we mean feature film, we don't mean like a 20-minute long animation. We mean an actual movie, a movie over an hour long. So it is the very first of its kind in the community, and it's probably one of the ones that's actually been going on the longest in terms of production. And today, for this panel, like exclusively here for BronyCon, we've got a lot of stuff to show you guys. So, yeah. Now, to get all of you guys excited, I wanna hear you guys' enthusiasm again. Who wants to see a trailer? All right. Who wants to see animation samples? Who wants to see storyboards? Because you're going to be getting all of that in the hour that we're going to be presenting for this movie tonight. So we're about, it's 6:30 right now? Is that what the clock says? That's what it says right here in this little timer right here.
No, it is not 6:30.
Oh, it's 6:20? Okay. We're 5 minutes late. Okay. But yeah, so we're going to be presenting a lot of stuff to you guys. The movie's actually been in the making for a long time now. Originally started production back in 2011, and it didn't even start off as a Friendship is Magic movie. It was actually based on a parody show that me, Kyle, and a few other people do. It's an improvisational comedy series called My Little Pony: The Brony Edition. And it eventually, after a while, back June last year, became a Friendship is Magic movie when we just weren't, we were coming up with ideas for the story and for the script. And it eventually changed and became something completely different. And we just decided, let's make it a Friendship is Magic movie. Let's make it something big. Let's make it something epic. So the story for Journey of the Spark basically entails Twilight Sparkle basically causing a mistake so big, like you know that cataclysmic event that she caused in Lesson Zero? Imagine something 10 times worse than that. Mm-hmm. Right. So this is a really big mistake that Twilight makes, so it forces every single one of her friends, including Princess Celestia and Luna, to completely turn their backs on her. So feeling, like this immense load of guilt, Twilight comes across the Statue of Discord. This is actually a movie inspired by the first 2 seasons of Friendship is Magic. Any sort of references made to the later seasons is pure coincidence, because when this story was actually written, this was back when season 2 was barely airing episodes. So anything that's, that references season 3 and onward is pure coincidence, and it's completely left open to interpretation as to whether or not it can fit into canon. Most people seem to believe that it's like alternate universe or something like that, I think. Yeah, but, oh, sorry, Twilight, she fell over. She's supposed to be my good luck charm. Her falling over, I think, is a really bad sign. But, so, Twilight comes across the Statue of Discord, and Discord strikes a deal with Twilight that basically will force her away from every single person that she knows and loves. And Twilight, as a result of this, runs away, so allowing Discord to break free of his stone prison and go after the thing that he's always wanted, to rule Equestria under, pure iron fists kind of thing. So now, as things kind of begin to get much darker and things kind of begin to just spiral into a state of just darkness, the rest of the main 6, along with Luna and Spike, must now journey far beyond Equestria to not only find Twilight, but to rekindle their friendship and to reignite the spark within the elements of harmony if they wish to defeat Discord and save Equestria from his evil clutches again. So it's a huge fantasy adventure spectacle kind of film. It was very much inspired by movies like The Dark Crystal. Some other movies that inspired it were, if anybody's heard of a movie called Willow. Yep, that's another one. And it was also inspired by some of my all-time favorite animation classics. I'm a huge fan of the works of Don Bluth. If anybody's, yep. All right, so the biggest inspiration for Journey of the Spark was a little movie called The Secret of Nimh, along with some of my other favorites, including An American Tale and The Land Before Time. So, and another thing too is that it's a musical. And Forrest Rain right over there is our songwriter. And I'm actually, yeah, go ahead and give him a hand. Well, say something.
Hi.
All right, so...
But yeah, I am the songwriter, but also we have a whole crew in the music department that's doing all sorts of stuff. Like we've separated out score and songs.
Right.
So we have musicians who are a lot better than me and have gone through a lot more training than I have to be able to create complete orchestral scores for the movie.
Right. That's actually something else that's really different for this project too, is that the score that's written out for Journey of the Spark, which is being done by Nick Keeling, otherwise known as Ponyvization, who co-composed the music for Snowdrop, was one of the things he did. And it's also being done by Michael Nicolosi. The music that those two compose is actually going to be performed by a possible 80 to 100 piece live orchestra. Yeah, which is actually generously have been offered by the orchestral contractor and the organizer of that, Dennis O'Keefe, comes from a college called the Ithaca School of Music, which is all the way out in New York. But he's graciously offered to get a live orchestra to perform whatever music, including Forrest's songs, actually, to be performed by a live orchestra and to make this like a real film soundtrack, like on the level of it.
I'm so excited.
Yep. So obviously, I mean, we've been hyping up, the movie a lot. You guys, your expectations are probably like really high. Probably to a point where it's like, get on with it, right? Okay, so do you think we should probably start, or do you?
You're the boss.
Afterwards.
Afterwards, okay.
Wait, what?
Well, I think just very quickly, I think we're just gonna get straight into it. And when Meredith gets here, well, she'll get here. She's running late because she's doing sound check for BronyPalooza right now, but. All right, so for the people, there are going to be people handling the laptop in the back, so that way we can kind of show off everything. But first, let's get the panel started off big with a trailer.
A concept trailer.
A concept trailer. All right, so before we play the video, I just want to let everybody know that Journey of the Spark, since it is a very massive project, there's not a whole lot of finished animation right now. We're taking on animation like, one scene at a time, but this trailer is mostly comprised of storyboard animatics, so nothing in this is final. It's completely subject to change, but we created this trailer specifically for BronyCon to give all of you people who are brand new to Journey of the Spark or who have heard of it before a really good idea of the tone that we want to take with this, because something very different from Journey of the Spark is that while it is a very true to show, kind of film, it's going in a much darker direction than I think the show could really go in. It goes in much more epic and much more darker territory. So, without further ado, I'm done blabbing. Let's watch, for the first time here, live at BronyCon 2013, the Journey of the Spark concept trailer. Woo!
We've arrived just like you asked, Princess Celestia.
I'm entrusting you to a very large task.
You can count on me, Princess.
You were the one charged with protecting us all. I believed you could live up to the expectation. Now I see my error too late. And it's all because of your choices.
Poor Twilight Sparkle. Perhaps the magic of friendship is not as strong as you suggest.
Everyone hates me.
The answer to your problem is simple. Imagine a place where no pony would ever hurt you again.
Where do I go?
Anywhere, so long as it's far away from everyone who did you wrong.
Twilight's gone?
Find your little friend in 4 days, and I shall disappear from Equestria forever.
But we'll never be able to find Twilight. We got to try.
Twilight.
Twilight Sparkle won't return.
She will come.
How do you expect me to go back? But we need you. I don't know who I am anymore. I could never leave any of you. You all made me who I am.
Equestria will be mine!
I will never let you hurt my friends. Ever again! Twilight!
It's not done yet.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
It's not done.
Go on.
All right. So, what'd you guys think of that? Awesome. So, yeah, there's actually been a character that we've been kind of leaving out of that for a while. Queen Chrysalis is actually a character we're just revealing for this con. So she actually, Chrysalis and the Changelings actually have a really major role in the movie, and she's actually been kept under wraps for about a year now. So we're now basically just going to get into the main portion of the panel, and we're going to show you guys just exactly how Journey of the Spark is made. So if we go to the next slide, please.
Yeah, can I say something? I put that together. I edited it.
Kyle edited the trailer
I've just
together.
been sitting here in the middle.
Yeah.
I've just been sitting here in the middle, all silent. I haven't
Oh.
even introduced myself.
Wait. Okay. Everybody, please welcome to the stage the voice actress of
There
Twilight and
you
Fluttershy and
are.
Journey of the Spark, Meredith Sims.
Just on time.
I know. It's okay.
You're just on time.
You're just on time, actually. The only thing you've actually missed is the trailer.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
I guess I'll see it later.
It was
All
so
right.
good. We all have chills, and it was,
Oh,
Yeah.
stop it.
All right, so do you just want to give yourself like an introduction to just who you are, Meredith?
Sure. My name's Meredith Sims. For the film, I am playing Twilight Sparkle and Fluttershy. Other things I've done Twilight Sparkle and Fighting Is Magic, and I'm on Silly Philly Studios as Fluttershy, and I also played Snowdrop. So.
All right. The trailer had like an amazing reception too. A lot of people really liked
I'm
it.
glad
so.
you guys liked it.
Yep.
I'm sorry I was late. I was sound checking for.
A lot of people like were actually like just kind of like as one thing I wanted to make a comment. There's like when Twilight is yelling to Discord, "I will never let you hurt my friends again." The person who storyboarded that gave her such a Dinkelberg kind of face.
Dinkelberg.
Discord.
Discord.
All right. So we're just gonna go straight into the panel presentation, and we're gonna show you guys
I haven't introduced myself.
All right.
Am I just invisible to you? I'm like.
Well, I mean, all the excitement is just like so much. We just like everybody just wants to see stuff. So go ahead
I'm
and
like your
introduce yourself.
Luigi to you, pretty much.
Yeah, but Kyle, don't you know it's the year of Luigi?
Yeah, you're Luigi, so that's a plus. Anyways, I'm a total stranger here. I am Kyle Suter. I am the lead editor and co-producer of Journey of the Spark.
Woo! And Forrest, everybody knows who you are. All right, so can I go ahead now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I got my introduction out of the way.
All right, so now we're going to show you guys just exactly how Journey of the Spark is made. So if we go to the next slide, our first thing that we're going to be covering is... Oh, well, that's just more info on Journey of the Spark.
We already went over that.
We already went over this. Next slide, please. Okay. Storyboards. Okay, so before we go to the next slide, the actual thing that I'm going to show to you guys is the opening to the movie. Something else that's like really different to Journey of the Spark is that we're not really trying to make this movie for the Brony community. I mean, it has like, fans of the show in mind, but this is actually being made with a general audience in mind, so that people who have never seen Friendship is Magic before can get straight into it without having to have actually watched the series. So if you actually go to the next slide, this is actually the opening to the movie, and we're actually doing this as a callback to Friendship is Magic Part 1, where Celestia, instead of narrating over the story of Nightmare Moon and stuff like that, she's now narrating over the story of how Twilight eventually went to go on to meet her friends in Ponyville, and how they got the elements of harmony, and how they defeated Nightmare Moon and stuff like that. So if we just kind of scroll through, next slide. Like, you're just going to see some kind of general examples of that. And it's actually drawn, and some of the panels are actually drawn out in the storybook style, too. I wanted to have an animatic of this, but we didn't have enough time to do it. But, yeah, so the way that these storyboards work is that if you guys notice the red arrows, that's actually indicating to the audience how the camera is going to move and how it's actually going to come out in the final product. So the next slide. So Celestia's narrating over it, and then of course she meets the main six. There's Pinkie Pie being Pinkie Pie. All right, next page. So then this is kind of explaining how they got like the elements of harmony, so generosity, loyalty, element of magic, and stuff like that. Defeated Nightmare Moon. Next page. And then we come to the recap of Return of Harmony to introduce Discord as the main villain to the audience. And then if we go to the next page as well, you kind of see all the corrupted ponies kind of surrounding Twilight, and now they use the elements of harmony. And then the real story of the movie actually begins during the Changeling battle from A Candlelight Wedding Part 2. And that's how we're actually going to be introducing Queen Chrysalis and all the changelings and stuff like that. Now, before we go to the next slide, there's something that should be mentioned, is that sometimes the storyboard artists like to sneak in like pop culture references and stuff like that behind my back. So just something really funny is that there's a little bit in this scene when Queen Chrysalis and two new characters that we're going to be talking about in a little bit, they're changelings as well, but they're sneaking into a tower where Discord's statue is actually placed. And they're disguised as normal ponies. So if you go to the next page, my lead storyboard artist decided to make him Michael Bay, M. Night Shyamalan, and Snooki. Yeah, so if you're able to sneak past stuff like that to me, then I mean, more props to you. But just know it's never going to be used in the final product. All right, so if we go to the next slide. This is actually like Queen Chrysalis is actually a big reveal, kind of like the transformation where she's going from pony to changeling, and that's her actual introduction into the film. So if we go to the next page. We're now going to show you guys storyboard to rough animation. This is actually kind of like a multi-step process as to how exactly it goes from storyboards to just a little sample of what animation looks like with like completed backgrounds and stuff like that. God, I can't talk. Anyways, if we go to the next slide. Before we play this video, it starts off as a storyboard kind of like this. And Meredith, guess what? You get to hear a line that you did 3 times in a row.
Yay!
All right, so if we play the video, this is what storyboard looks like.
What do you want?
Which then eventually will transition to storyboard animatic.
What do you want?
Like that. And then finally, it will go to rough animation like this.
What do you want?
Like that. So that's kind of like a little sample of how it kind of goes through that process. But there's a lot of stuff in between it that you guys don't really actually know about. So if we go to the next slide, we'll talk about concept art. Concept art is one of the biggest things that the movie actually kind of strives off of, because concept artists are not only doing creature designs and just like costume designs and stuff like that, they're actually creating a lot of the world in itself that you kind of see in Journey of the Spark. So you remember those 2 changeling characters I was talking to you about? Well, if we go to the next slide, we're going to introduce them to you. This is Shrill and Krill. They're 2 changeling characters that were created specifically for the movie, and they're kind of like the henchmen to Queen Chrysalis. Shrill's like the more, angry, it's like I have to serve the queen kind of thing. Krill is a little more shy, and he's a little more timid, and and they're actually being voiced by Forrest and I. Forrest and I are voicing them for the movie. So, yep. So they're brand new characters, and they were actually, this is actually concept art done by our former concept artist, Sarah Williams. She designed the characters, and she actually wrote them herself. So if we actually go to the next slide, this is actually a changeling scorpion. This is a creature created exclusively for Journey of the Spark. Where it fits into the story, I can't tell you. But it was a design done by another one of our former artists, Jan Engel. This was a design that he did exclusively for the movie. Looks pretty freaky. I wouldn't want to get pinched by that thing. All right.
Stung.
Or stung. Pinched. I'm sorry.
There are too many Baltimore crab hats in your head.
But I haven't even gotten a crab head yet. All right, so if we go to the next slide, this is kind of what I was talking about, is that this is kind of like a concept drawing, like very, very early, of the interior of Discord's tower, the tower that houses the statue of Discord. And you would kind of do something like this. You'd basically draw out the inside of it, and then it would eventually get colored and vectored and stuff like that. So if we go to the next slide, this is also another one that we did. This is an interior design done by concept artist Sarah Williams of a library that Twilight encounters somewhere in the movie. Again, I can't tell you. I'm so sorry. But this is kind of what concept art would kind of entail. You'd be drawing out the world that these characters are going to be walking around in a lot of the time. And you kind of have to think with like a very immersive sort of mindset when you're creating these kind of things. It's all coming from, your imagination, and you're kind of putting it out into drawn form. So we go to the next slide. This is kind of an example of a background when it looks, sort of like, it starts out as the concept and then it goes to color scheme and whatnot. And this is, again, Discord's tower, the inside of it, a door that's gonna open. It's actually for a shot when Twilight like pushes a door open and she's like coming inside. It's really dark, very foreboding, just very creepy. Go to the next slide. These are costume designs. So these are costume designs done by two of our artists on the movie. Some of them were done by Sarah Williams, and then the two others, the ones for Rainbow Dash and Rarity, were actually done by our current art director, Charito Domingo. I hope I'm saying that right. We just call her Chad. But those are two costume designs that we did for the main six, but you guys are noticing, oh yeah, Pinkie Pie is not there. Well, if we go to the next category, next slide please, we're going to talk about vector art. Now, this is another really key important thing to the production. So if we go to the next slide, there we go, there's Pinkie Pie. And basically, the way that vector art works is that oftentimes we'll get a piece of concept art, and then vector artists are the people who digitally make those concepts into show-accurate style. So we took a concept piece done by Sarah for Pinkie Pie's costume, and then one of our vector artists, Nick Fleming, then put it into the show-accurate style that you see there. So it's, and most of the vector work is either done in Ponyscape/Inkscape, or it's done in Adobe Illustrator, or just whatever program works for them. Most of us use Ponyscape, though, and Inkscape to do our vectors on the movie. So if we go to the next slide, this is actually what a vectored background looks like, and this is actually something that's more akin to the background that you see in the film. This is the inside of Discord's tower again, but there you go, you see the statue of Discord, and there's stained glass windows, like kind of adorned around it, that you've actually seen in the show. So if you notice, there's the panel where Celestia and Luna turn Discord to stone, and then there's one that has like Discord with like his little invisible puppet strings kind of tormenting the ponies, and all those kind of things like adorned around the interior of Discord's tower. If we go to another slide, this is kind of an example of taking something that was kind of drawn out and then putting it into vector form. This is a stained glass window that is inside the tower, which actually kind of shows a little more of the backstory between Discord and Celestia and Luna's relationship. How, Discord ruled the land in torment, and then Celestia and Luna, tried to reason with him, or kind of something like that. It's left open to interpretation, really. And how, there's a throne room at the top. They were kind of like, dueling for who would rightfully rule Equestria. All right, so if we go to the next slide. Now, this is a video, but before we do this, I'm going to explain what this is. This is all the process it takes for to making Journey of the Spark work. I mean, hey, it's an animated film, so I mean, the title pretty much speaks for itself. So basically, sometimes the process of animation can probably take the longest out of anything on the film. But I have a few samples to actually kind of show you guys. Now, usually the way that animation works is that we take this one scene at a time. We normally never go out of order in terms of the way that we want to work on it. But animation, basically, sometimes we'll ask the animators if they don't have a background finished for their scene. We'll just ask them to animate the characters regardless. And then we'll give them the backgrounds later so then they can animate with that. So you guys are basically going to see some animation samples of what it looks like without the backgrounds in place. So if we go to the next slide, it's a video, but this is actually animated by one of the Double Rainboom animators, Oscar Dadfar. He actually animated the shot himself, so I'll kind of explain what's supposed to be going on as this kind of plays out. So if we press play, Twilight is going to be pushing on a gate leading to Discord's tower. She realizes it's locked. She kind of sighs, rolls her eyes a little bit, and then uses her magic to basically get rid of the lock, like that. So if we actually go to the next video, this is actually an animation sample. You can press play. This is an animation sample where Twilight gets to the door, she gulps, she's afraid, and then she raises her hoof up, just like in hesitation before she opens it. So those are examples of kind of what animation looks like without backgrounds in place. So they're not finished and they're early. Early stages of animation. So if we go to the next slide, we're going to end off the media portion of the panel with the final ingredient, post-production. And one of the key things that I'm going to show you guys is just how important visual effects, or at least the visual effects in appliance to Journey of the Spark, in terms of getting the visual look that it's going to have for the movie. We took a lot of inspiration way back in the early days when Children of the Night was still around. Like before it was finished, we knew that we kind of wanted something very beautiful looking and something very akin to that sort of style. So we opted to limit visual effects only to animating the elements and to using things such as shading, shadows, and highlights to give it the look that it has. So if we go to the next slide. This is kind of this is an animation sample that I'm going to show you guys. It's only 2 seconds long, so I'm sorry if it's like really short. But we're gonna press play, and you guys are gonna see what we're talking about. If you could actually play it again. Yeah, there we go. All right. So that is how we want Journey of the Spark to look. That's the visual look that we want to go for. It took a lot of work. The animation for the water itself, the waterfall, and then the little teardrop that falls into the base was actually animated by Double Rainboom visual effects artist James R. Lyons. He's actually here right now. If you could stand up. Awesome work, man. Awesome work. And then the rest of the water, which includes the ripples within the basin itself, like the main water and the highlights and the shading and whatnot, was actually done by our in-house effects artists, including My Little Visuals, Korean, and My Little Brony. All worked together on that. All right, so next slide. Basically, we're hiring. So for anybody who wants to help on Journey of the Spark, it's a massive project and we need a lot of people. So for the art department, we're looking for storyboard artists, concept artists, layout artists, vector artists, story artists, and background artists. Lots of artists. And then for post-production, we're looking for visual effects artists, sound designers, and sound editors. Sound designers are the people who make the sound effects that you normally hear in Friendship is Magic, like magic and fire and water and just about every sort of sound effect that you hear when a character interacts with something. And the sound editors are the people that basically kind of put the mix together, who even out the levels of music, sound effects, and voices to get it to the final mix that we want. And finally, for animation, we're looking for animators especially. Flash animators, a lot of Flash animators. People who do cleanup animation. meaning that the people who do cleanup animation are people who don't actually animate full scenes themselves, but rather they actually help make the pieces of animation done by our animators look a lot smoother and clean it up, basically, to make it more smooth. And then finally, we're looking for our animation puppet builders. We're opting to basically kind of make our own puppets. I mean, we could use like, different sort of sources of like animation puppets, but like we just feel a little more safer actually making our own. All of the main 6 are actually completed right now, and then I believe Spike is being worked on right now, and then we're going to be starting work on the Changeling builds and whatnot. But we're looking for people who actually have experience in making animation puppets. All right, so if we go to the next slide. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
All right. So if you guys need to contact us at all, if you're interested in working for Journey of the Spark, if you're interested in just finding out more about the movie and following its progress, we have an official email that we check all the time. It's officialsparkmovie@gmail.com. I run a production blog on Tumblr called filmsparkmovie.tumblr.com, and there's actually an application sheet that you can actually, that we have linked to our Tumblr. So if you actually want to work for the movie, we have an application sheet that you can fill out, and you can just, you can go ahead, fill out an application, and then all of our artists will kind of overlook, the different sort of positions that you want to do, and you get an approval email if we like your work, and then we add you on Skype. Skype is incredibly primary in order to working on the movie. You can give email and stuff like that. We can communicate through email, but all of our meetings are done through Skype, and all of our assignments are given through Skype, and a lot of protocol and details are done through Skype. So, in other words, use Skype. Then I'm sorry, you can't work on the movie.
This was
That's
a
a-
public
We're
service
all
announcement
over the world.
from Eric.
Yeah. We're all
Yep.
over the world working on this together.
Yep. There's people who are working from Sweden, Australia, the Netherlands, from South America, all over North America. So people from all sorts of places coming together to work on this. We have a team about roughly 70 to 80 people right now working on it.
She just asked about Facebook.
We do have a Facebook, yeah.
Do you have a Facebook? Okay.
Yeah, but I barely don't post anything on there. That's probably why I didn't include it. But anyways, I also run a Twitter, FilmSpark Movie. And then finally, you can see the final movie along with just more pieces of promotional material, animation tests, previews, trailers, pieces of music from the movie soundtrack, all on our YouTube, FIM Spark Movie. All right, so we're going to keep it on this slide because we do have something very special planned
You
for
may
the
notice
ending
a
of...
little sound icon on the bottom.
Yeah, you're going to notice there's a little sound icon. Don't click it yet. We're saving that. We're saving that. But now I think we have enough time.
We're at 6:58.
6:58. All right, so we have like a few minutes for Q&A. All right, so we're gonna have a mic running throughout the room. So if you guys have a question at all, we're just going to kind of pick hands and then answer a few of them.
And then after that, we'll show you the thing I'm really excited for.
All right,
Promise
so,
it's good.
all right, so that guy actually had his hand up first, so let's go ahead with him.
Blue shirt. Okay.
Go, go, go. All right.
So, like, I like the idea of making your own sound bits for all the small stuff. But what was the choice between actually remaking them as opposed to just getting a library full of casual water sound effects?
Some of the actual sound effects are actually ripped from Friendship is Magic. Primarily the magic sound effects, because the magic sound effects, because one of our sound designers was actually somebody who also worked on Double Rainbow. His name is David Larson. He basically just sent me all the magic sound effects, but I mean, like, some of the sound effects are actually from sound libraries that we actually have already pre-installed on our computers, and then some of them we kind of opt to sort of make ourselves just to kind of give it a more authentic feel. But yeah, some of them are from the show, and then others are from other different sorts of sound libraries and stuff like that. I did some of the sound design myself on the concept trailer, and that was all just from pre-installed sound effects libraries that I had, and so. All right, that guy up there with the Luna hat.
I'd just like to know which version of Flash you're using, like Flash 8.
We use Flash CS 5 through 6.
Okay.
All right. That guy right over there. my gosh, so many hands. Hands!
The question was about the consistency
Uh-huh.
about the background and just the point of view. You just talk about the castle. Is there other place that you had the same problem?
You know, I mean, like, believe it or not, we actually had like a huge problem with the tower interior. Was that sometimes there's a little bit of miscommunication amongst like your people, and I mean that happens on a lot of projects, especially if you're working through Skype. Some people actually weren't following the layout design, and they ended up making the placement of the pillars completely out of order. So a lot of the backgrounds actually had to be redone, and luckily we got the whole problem sorted out. But sometimes inconsistency can actually happen. I mean, it happens all the time. But like, if they're easy fixes, I mean, you can just go back into the backgrounds and then just kind of fix them up or just redraw them, essentially. So I mean, things like that happen all the time. Sometimes backgrounds like that will give you problems, especially like if you don't exactly like have all the details about how those backgrounds are supposed to work. Oh yeah, and another thing too, if you guys have any questions for any of my other three panelists here, feel free to ask them questions. Don't just put them all on me.
You're the most important person here.
Oh, well, thank you.
Take it.
Next person.
Take it person.
Okay, that person up in the front.
That's far away from us.
Whoop.
What's it feel like starting such an ambitious project? And how does the organization play into it?
You know, doing really ambitious projects like this could be very, very taxing on a lot of people. When I signed up to direct the picture, I opted to, well, I mean, I knew that I was basically getting myself into something very ambitious, but I mean, I opted to do it because, well, frankly, I mean, it's a very important film to me. It's a very personal one, because I actually opted to make the movie as a memorial to my grandmother. Because around the time that I came up with the story for it, my grandmother had passed away. So I wrote the story, and I came up with a lot of the ideas behind it, and I opted to make the movie because I felt it was something that she would have loved to have seen. And I told myself, I'm crazy for even bothering to go on this enormous big adventure to make like an almost like hour and a half to like 2 hour movie, but I felt it would be worth it because it was something that I wanted to do. And I mean, when you direct for film, I mean, film I've always felt is like it's just another form of artistic expression. It's a way that you can kind of put all of your emotions and all of your thoughts and feelings and just all of your beliefs into a visual format. And I mean, nothing should limit you from basically expressing who you are. So when I opted to direct Journey of the Spark as one of my first big, projects, and I opted to do something so ambitious, it was because I frankly just wanted to make a movie that I felt anybody could watch and that they could grow to love, even if they didn't know Friendship is Magic. And I opted to make it because it was the movie that I would have liked my grandma to see. So.
We should get somebody near the back.
You can say he's been on quite
Someone
a journey.
in the back? Yeah. All right. That person like way in the back over there? Yeah, the guy in the blue sweater.
Okay.
Yeah.
And coming up with the idea for such a project, and it just seems like very overwhelming and something that traditionally like a studio would do.
You know, it is overwhelming, especially considering the fact that I've never done a major project before. I mean, I've done things like audio dramas, and I've written my own scripts and stuff like that, but I've never done something to this size, and I especially never thought that it would get the reception that it has here, seeing everybody here, like, filling up the entire room, like, full, just like full house, basically. I never expected something like that, especially for someone who's never really done a whole lot of projects of this caliber before. But we assembled the team. We did it through EQD, actually. Back when it wasn't a Friendship is Magic movie, we put up a casting call, basically saying, "Oh yeah, we need animators and storyboards and stuff like that," and we got put in the nightly roundup, and we got overshadowed by Ponies the Anthology too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't get very many people, but we did get people on board, and it just kind of went from there. And once we released like our first animatic, kind of showing off the tone and the story, more people got interested, and it just kind of kept going from there. And we got interviews and
word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth.
That's how I got on.
Yeah.
Decibel told me about it. She's actually voicing Applejack.
Yep.
And I told my voice actor friends about it. So networking.
Well, it actually got off the ground immensely when I decided to make it a Friendship is Magic movie. Actually, one of the first people that I messaged was Meredith here, because at the time there weren't very many Twilight Sparkles in the community. So one of the first that I heard was Meredith's Twilight when she did her audition reel for Finding His Magic. So I was like, wow, she has like that emotional quality that I really like. So I want to see if I can message this person. But at that time, I was like a total nobody. So I was like, no, but what if she says no? Oh my God, all the pressure. So I just opted, out of pure luck, just decided to message her on YouTube. And she was just like, oh my gosh, this sounds really cool. Could you give me more details?
It was really cool, and it is really cool.
So what I did was that I sent Meredith like this really extremely long pitch. I basically told her, this is the entire story, this is what I want to do with it, this is why I'm doing it, and this is basically what you'd be doing. And I told her that I wanted to make it a musical. She's like, get me on board, I want to sing. So it was after that that Meredith introduced me to a lot of the Silly Philly people, like Jen and Rev and all of them. They're all actually in the back. Some of them, they're all back there. They're all way back there. So Meredith basically introduced me to all of those people, and we just started casting. And at that time, we got 4 minutes? Okay, then I'll just wrap up this one, and then we'll go on to our big surprise.
Okay.
So once once we started getting actors in place, we then started writing out the script, because once Meredith was on board, there was no script yet, only just a story outline and everything that we wanted to do with it. So scripting actually kind of went at its own pace as we actually were doing casting.
I helped out a little bit too.
Yeah,
kind of a co-writer
he co-wrote. He co-wrote. Kyle helped co-write the script as well. So I mean, sometimes projects like this, they just kind of get the backing that they need, so long as you actually have like faith in your own work. I mean, if you have a lot of faith that something is going to be successful, then push for it. Because some of the most unexpected and some of the most amazing things can happen if you just decide to take a chance. And had I not actually, kind of went with my instinct and, got Meredith on board, I don't think it probably would have gotten casted. And I don't think it would have gotten to the level that I think it actually is right now. So, so it's really about trusting your instincts and really trying to go ahead and just believing in your material. And just really going ahead with it and really, really pushing to make it a success. For myself, like I said, it might just me being humble, but I don't want to make this, like the best fan animation that the whole community has seen. I just want to make a really good movie. And that's what matters to me. So that's what I opted to do. All right, so we're basically going to end off Q&A. And we're going to go ahead and go with our surprise. So before we actually play it, though, Forrest, I hear you've actually been working on something pretty special for this panel. You kind of want to tell people what that's about?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, no, for sure. With Journey of the Spark, I've been staring at the script for a very long time and looking at all the music I haven't done yet. And there's a lot of songwriting to do, and there's a lot of awesome people who are helping with it. I think some of the VAs are helping with the writing for the lyrics, for stuff like that. I do some lyrics, but I'm really kind of not that great at being creative with lyrics. I'm really great at being creative with music, but not with lyrics. And so we worked with Jeff
Burgess, actually. He's our lyricist on the movie.
Yeah. And we kind of came up with, is this the opening?
It's the opening musical number.
The opening song for Journey of the Spark, which basically I've endeavored to create the most Daniel Ingram song I could ever produce.
All right.
So without further ado,
Yeah, so, all right, guys. So, for the first time ever, we are so proud to introduce this live from BronyCon 2013, the opening musical number to Journey of the Spark. We're on our way with lyrics by Jeff Burgess, music by Forrest Rain, and as performed by the Journey of the Spark cast. Here we go.
Today I'll shine like I've never shone before, and I will show the princess that I'm ready for more. I'll dazzle her with magic, every spell that I've done, and I'll prove to her I'm ready for my place in the sun. Today I'll be what I've never been before, and I will take to the sky, spread my wings and soar. There's a brand new spark up in the sky today, and as sure as night is dark, we are on our way.
Today I'll rise with the upper crust, fancy drinks, crystal glass, cider is a must. Clean your hooves, it's a big day. Hold your horses, they're okay. Sure as stubborn ponies squabble, we are on our way.
There'll be ponies laughing, ponies dancing, having so much fun. I cannot wait to celebrate everything with everyone. All those thousands of ponies from every place under the sun. Thousands of ponies? Really? Of course. The Prince and Princess are coming back. It's the event of the century. Pinky, maybe I'll hide in a cupboard, lock the door. There won't be thousands of ponies there by far. Are you sure? I could find a little corner I could use for a day. Don't listen to Pinkie Pie. She's gone off the hay. And as sure as the Wonderbolt flies, we are on our way.
The bumpy road to Canterlot,
Flying free.
from Nerd will trot.
And we'll party. Maybe not. And as sure as the moon is gray, we're on our way.
All right, everybody. So that basically wraps it up. So give it up for Meredith Sims, Kyle Suter, Forrest Rain,
And please
And I'm
give it up
Eric
for
Ranenauer.
Eric. Please stand up, Eric.